What is the Stellar revolution? Why is smart money slowly building up while everyone sleeps? The things that are happening right now in August 2025 are mind-blowing, and I'm sure most of you are missing it. Everyone with a lot of followers in the crypto world is talking about Bitcoin ETFs and the new Pepe coin pump. But the biggest deployment of institutional capital in blockchain history is happening in complete silence. And to be honest, most people will miss it completely. I'm really shocked by what I found when I looked into Stellar's Q2 2025 stats last week. This isn't just another story about blockchain. This is the planned takeover of global finance by a network that most small investors can't even say properly. I've been studying crypto markets for years, and what you're about to learn will change the way you think about cross-border payment, optimization, and institutional-grade liquidity in a big way. Stellar is slowly becoming the backbone of tomorrow's tokenized financial system, while Bitcoin's story of being a store of value makes all the news. If you want to get good risk-adjusted returns and diversify your investments strategies, destroy that button to join right now. This station doesn't go after hype. We lead revolutions before most people in the market understand what's going on. We're going to talk about systematic risk assessment and the coin infrastructure play that isn't getting enough attention today. No one is talking about the $4.20 billion elephant in the room. Let me break this down with some facts that really shocked me and made me do a double take. Stellar's quarterly report for Q2 2025 says that the network handled an amazing 588 million activities. That's 82% more than in Q1. But here's what really shocked me. Out of those actions, 255 million were real payments. As everyone knows, that's not wash trading or speculative DeFi business. That's real institutional money moving through routes that are regulated. Now, pay close attention because this is where things really go crazy. Over $4.2 billion worth of real-world assets were paid for over the network in Q2 2025, up from $3.4 billion in the first quarter. That's a 24% rise in real economic growth over the last 3 months. To give you an idea of how big this is, Franklin Templeton has turned $445 million in U.S. Treasury into Stellar tokens through their Benji program. What really shocked me, though, was the last part. Franklin Templeton is a huge asset manager with a $1.55 trillion market value. Why would it pick Stellar over Ethereum? Pretty simple math. Stellar has 3 to 5 SYN payment times, while Ethereum's is 12 minutes. Stellar's transaction costs are also about 0.0038 per operation, while Ethereum's are about $1.99 per transaction. These differences aren't just competitive benefits when you're running large-scale operations for an institution. They're also necessary for running the business. People who work in the industry tell me that institutions always choose Stellar's tried-and-true technology when they need fiduciary responsibility and treasury management solutions. The network has been up and running for 2,283 days in a row without a single problem. That's more than 6 years of uninterrupted service while handling 19.6 billion processes. PayPal's 400 million users prove it. The avalanche of institutions starts. Everything has changed. This is why it wasn't just another partnership. News when PayPal said it would add Stellar to its PYUSD stablecoin in June 2025. Federal Reserve filings and regulatory records say that this proves that major payment processors see Stellar as production-ready infrastructure that can handle large-scale operations without charging too much. Take a moment to think about this. More than 400 million people in more than 170 countries can use Stellar's payment rails at the same time thanks to PayPal. That's not pilot projects or adoption in theory. That means that hundreds of millions of possible users can do real gross settlement thanks to compliance-first architecture. But this absolutely blew my mind when I looked into this partnership. Circle's USDC trades on Stellar are now worth more than $623.57 million with the SafeCoin, which can be used in over 170 countries through Stellar's Anchor network. Every time someone changes cash to cryptocurrency at one of MoneyGram's thousands of sites around the world, demand for XLM as the bridge currency that makes these transactions possible grows on its own. Let me tell you something about myself that changed the way I see this completely. Last month, I talked to a person in Lagos who sends money abroad and has been using MoneyGram's Stellar interface. She told me that she can now send $200 to her family in rural Ghana for less than 50 cents for each transaction. The money will be sent in less than 10 seconds. That's different from standard wire transfers, which cost $15 to $25 and take days to settle. This isn't just some vague new idea in finance. It's infrastructure that changes lives that is used on a large scale. MoneyGram's best kept secret. 300,000 pieces of real crypto on-ramps. Here's something I learned that totally changed how I thought about Stellar's strategic positioning. With over 300,000 agents in more than 200 countries, MoneyGram's partnership with Stellar has made it the world's biggest cash-to-crypto network. This is not only amazing, it's a huge step forward for financial inclusion. The amounts are mind-blowing. In its 3 years of business, this partnership has helped close deals worth nearly $30 million in 170 countries. But Stellar's usefulness goes beyond standard finance, as shown by its use in humanitarian projects. Through Stellar Aid Assist, the UNHCR has given more than $1 million to more than 1,500 people in Ukraine alone. The way this works in real life is absolutely amazing. People receive USDC directly on their phones and can cash out at nearby MoneyGram spots. This avoids using traditional banking systems, which could be hacked or not available during conflicts. This blockchain-based dispersal system makes sure that cash transfers are quick, safe, and responsible, and that all value transfers can be tracked. What makes this unique is that it can work in two directions. Anyone with cash can walk into a MoneyGram location, quickly convert it to USDC on Stellar, and send value anywhere in the world, with settlement being final in less than 5 seconds. There was a fee of less than 0.001 backwards. Anyone with a cryptocurrency wallet can show it to any MoneyGram worker and get local cash right away. The African financial superhighway where building roads gets stars. Here's the big strategic idea that will change everything for making long-term value. Stellar is building financial infrastructure in places where blockchain can solve the biggest problems. While Ethereum and XRP compete for market share in the West, the amount of info is crazy. Over $90 billion is sent back to Africa every year, which is 2% of the continent's GDP still. The average fees for moving $200 to sub-Saharan Africa are around 7.9%, which is a lot more than the UN's goal of 3% for sustainable development, because of the fees and delays of standard banking systems, which can be as long as 5 business days. Up to 75% of flows happen through informal channels. Flutterwave handles more than $9 billion a year in 33 African countries, and their great integration lets European senders send USDC right away, going through Anchor's infrastructure to reach their destination. Send money in the local currency right away. When fees for standard correspondent banking relationships are 7.9% on average, Stellar USDC rails bring the cost down to less than 1%. Here's a real-life case that shows how it affects people. 5 billion naira were sent back to the US through the Nigerian route in 2022, with fees that were on average over 7%. Nigerian recipients save money on fees and get cash right away for business capital, living costs, and school costs, thanks to great USDC and MoneyGram on-ramps. Big surprise. The real-world asset boom worth $3 billion that no one sees coming. Here's the shocking news that will shock even the most experienced institutional buyers. Stellar's $3 billion are a WA goal for